What's up guys, Joey here of YugaTech, and Xiaomi. That's been the theme this week since we got our hands on the Redmi K20 Pro. There's been a lot of buzz going on for Xiaomi's latest affordable flagship level smartphone. But wait a minute. Redmi is Xiaomi's sub-brand, and wait, the main Xiaomi brand also released their own affordable flagship last month. So yeah, this is a comparison review between the Redmi K20 Pro and the Xiaomi Mi 9. Starting off with design. The Redmi K20 Pro sports a 3D curved glass back, which does a really good job for palm ergonomics. The Xiaomi Mi 9 on the other hand has a smooth glass back which is slightly curved as well to give you a sounder mind with your grip. Our K20 Pro is in the flame red color and our Mi 9 is in piano black. When placing them next to each other, they both look like they have something to say with their design language. The K20 Pro looks like it's saying, "I'm the future," while the Mi 9 responds with "old school, classic, but elegant." Here at the back of both devices, you can find the rear camera modules. The K20 Pro's module is placed at the center of the back with the holographic accented telephoto lens above it. The Mi 9 also gets the triple camera treatment. This time it's placed on the upper left portion and it too has an accented camera, which seems to be the 2019 camera accent trend. In front you get a true all-screen display for the K20 Pro thanks to a certain light-up pop-up selfie camera. The Mi 9 on the other hand utilizes a dot drop notch, which I find to be the most unintrusive of all notch formats. For buttons and ports, both devices' volume rocker and power button can be found on the right side. Up top, you find the K20 Pro's 3.5mm headphone jack, noise cancelling mic, and the aforementioned pop-up selfie camera, which yes, lights up, doubling it as a notification light. The Mi 9 on the other hand gets an IR blaster, which I know some of you like to have. On the left side, you can find the Mi 9's dual SIM card tray as well as a dedicated Google Assistant button. Nothing here for the Redmi K20 Pro. At the bottom of both devices, you can find the noise-cancelling mic for regular calls, a single downward-firing speaker, and yes, a USB Type-C port. This is where you also find the K20 Pro's dual SIM card tray. Okay, so for design, I feel like the K20 Pro gets a lot of flare points, which is nice and all, but I like how the Mi 9 whispers elegance. So with that in mind for design, surprisingly, it's going to be the Redmi K20 Pro for me. As much as I like the more elegant Mi 9, I feel like Xiaomi held back a little bit and they could have done more. I guess I gave it to the K20 Pro for being a little bit more forward-thinking in a way, and the inclusion of a headphone jack helps a lot. Now moving on to display. Both the K20 Pro and Mi 9 get a 6.39-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED panel. Both devices also have Gorilla Glass protection on board. The K20 Pro uses Gorilla Glass 5 while the Mi 9 uses Gorilla Glass 6, which means both displays are equivalent in scratch resistance, but the Mi 9 can handle more drops from greater heights. When it comes to media consumption, the quality from both displays are about the same, but the experience is honestly a lot better with the K20 Pro because of that uncompromised bezel-less front panel. Almost the entire front is screen, and with no notch blocking your way, you can utilize the entire screen for wider content. Now remember, when it comes to media consumption, the display is only half the story. So you know it, we gotta check out those single downward firing speakers. The speakers on both devices are about the same. They provide loud volumes, clear mids, slightly less clear highs, and lackluster bass. But yeah, for overall display and just general media consumption, I'm gonna have to give it to the K20 Pro simply because of that bezel-less front. Alright, let's check out performance now. For hardware, both devices are equipped with the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 7nm chipset and an Adreno 640 GPU. So it looks like we have a case of who wore it better. But before that, let's talk RAM plus storage configurations. The K20 Pro gets a handful. You can get 6 gigs of RAM with 64 or 128 gigs of internal storage, or 8 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of storage. For the Mi 9, you can get either 6 gigs of RAM and 64 plus 128 gigs of storage, or 8 gigs of RAM plus 64 or 128 gigs of storage. You don't get expandable storage on either of these devices, so whichever configuration you decide to get, make sure it's the right one for you. One thing the K20 Pro has that the Mi 9 doesn't is an FM radio. So if you listen to the radio a lot on your phone and you're deciding between these two phones, well, you know which one to get. For software, you get Android 9 Pie out of the box, skinned with MIUI 10 on top of both of these devices. Now, MIUI isn't my favorite Android skin at the moment, but I like how simple it is to use and there really isn't anything wrong with it. I even prefer it over EMUI. Oh wait, that's kinda done, huh? Well, we'll see if I prefer it over Hongmeng or ArcOS, whatever we're gonna call it. When it comes to biometrics, both the K20 Pro and the Mi 9 come with Face Unlock. They both work very well. The problem is the K20 Pro's unlocking time can be really slow in comparison due to its pop-up camera. Also, the fact that you need to swipe up on the display first for it to pop out is an unwanted hassle. Then again, optical face unlocks aren't really the safest after all. Now, if you guys were interested in some benchmark scores, here they are right now. But like I said earlier, it's a case of who wore it better. Apples to apples. Now when it comes to battery, the K20 Pro sports a now trendier capacity of 4000 mAh and utilizes Qualcomm's Quick Charge 4 Plus for charging. The Mi 9 on the other hand packs a respectable 3300 mAh battery and uses Quick Charge 4 Plus for charging as well, and it has support for 20-watt wireless charging. So Quick Charge 4 Plus is basically Qualcomm's charging standard for 27 watts. Sadly, a 27-watt charger is not included in the box for either of these devices. You'll have to get that separately. But even with the included 18-watt chargers for both these devices, they charge fairly quickly, around an hour from 20 to 100%. In our standard video loop test, the K20 Pro yielded 27 hours and 36 minutes, while the Mi 9 got us 18 hours and 20 minutes. That isn't surprising considering the smaller battery capacity, but with moderate usage, the Mi 9 left us with 40% of battery at the end of the day, and because of the K20 Pro's bigger battery, it isn't hard to see it lasting 2 full days with the same amount of usage. So for battery, you do get wireless charging with the Mi 9, but you know, they both have the same Qualcomm Quick Charge 4 Plus, and the Redmi K20 has a bigger battery, so we're gonna have to go with that. It's pretty much safe to say at this point that overall general performance goes to the Redmi K20 Pro, but I'm pretty sure that the Mi 9 has one last trick up its sleeve. Let's head over to the cameras. Starting with the rear, the Redmi K20 Pro gets a triple camera setup composed of a 48 megapixel main shooter, an 8 megapixel telephoto, and a 13 megapixel ultrawide. The Mi 9 on the other hand also gets a triple camera treatment that consists of also a 48 megapixel main shooter, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 16 megapixel ultrawide. They also both have dual LED flashes and laser autofocus. On the front facing side of things, you get a 20 megapixel selfie shooter for both devices. The main difference being the aperture. It's up to f2.2 on the K20 Pro and f2 on the Mi 9. Now let's check out some samples. Right off the bat, see what I did there? I want to check out the 48 megapixel modes on both devices. In this shot, we see that the sharpness and detail is amazing. You can also see a difference in color reproduction. The Mi 9's image appears more flat, leaving you more room if you like to edit your photos. The same sentiments can be said for these next photos, shot on the 48 megapixel mode as well. In our usual shot of the Skyway, dynamic range seems to be on par here. I don't think either device did it better, but I do notice that the Mi 9 handles the shadows a little bit different in post-processing. The same can be said for this shot as well. Now, we're checking out both devices' ultra-wide angle camera, and this is tough. Quality from both phones do look very similar and they both look good if you ask me. But here in this shot, you can see that, like I said earlier, the Mi 9 handles shadows differently compared to the K20 Pro. Its post-processing helps keep the shadows up, making this dimly lit shot appear brighter and more appealing. Moving to low light. Here's what this shot looks like in the default photo mode. This is with night mode on. So I'm kinda favoring the Mi 9 here, but let's take a look at another one. Now this is a shot using night mode indoors. I feel like the K20 Pro has some contrast issues, making the shot appear less sharp compared to the Mi 9's, but if you check out Ira's shirt, the detail was better preserved on the K20 Pro. For portrait mode, we have this shot of a pizza delivery car. And generally, I feel like both devices handle the shot very well, but I'm giving it to the Mi 9 here once again for that better subject background separation. So we have Ira here taking a selfie, and again, they both look great. You can see her flyaways, meaning detail is great with a good amount of sharpness. Switching over to portrait selfies, and the flyaways are gone as expected, but good subject background separation is present on both. Alright, so for cameras, it was pretty neck and neck in here for the majority of our samples, but when it comes down to it, I'm gonna have to give it to the Mi 9 for having more accurate color reproduction and better reliability. But before we conclude this video, we have one more factor to consider: the price. The K20 Pro's price in China starts at 2,499 yuan, which is around 18,900 pesos when directly converted. That's for the 6GB RAM, 64GB storage configuration, which you can also get for the Mi 9, locally priced at 22,990 pesos. So, does the Mi 9 deserve that basically 4,000 peso price jump? I mean, I guess you can justify it with the better camera performance, but I've heard there are better ways to get images out of that hardware. Gcam. So no, I personally don't think the Mi 9 deserves the price jump, but it is in a way justified by how the devices perform out of the box. And so comes the verdict for this comparison. I think it's pretty obvious. The true Xiaomi affordable flagship crown for the year goes to the Redmi K20 Pro. So, what did you guys think of this affordable flagship comparison? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit YugaTech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. This has been Joey, and I'll see you in the next one.